Okay, picture this. You're sitting in a dentist chair in a foreign country. You're completely at the mercy of the person standing over you. And suddenly, this terrifying realization hits you. You've made a massive, irreversible mistake. That is the very real, very visceral nightmare a patient named Rayma experienced when he traveled abroad looking for a deal on dental work. I mean, they literally dropped his new dental bridge on the floor, cracked it, and then just glued it back together and put it in his mouth anyway. It's completely wild. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating and, frankly, alarming investigative case study. We are going to unpack the dark reality of dental tourism. We'll look at how a system originally built to give people affordable care has somehow morphed into this sprawling factory of manipulation, hidden fees, and shocking medical negligence. But more importantly, we're going to figure out exactly why this happens and how some new alternative models are actually stepping up to fix it. So what actually happens when your search for a bargain smile turns into an international nightmare? Well, for Rima, it all kicked off with a simple online search for treatment in Istanbul, Turkey. Almost right away, he was contacted by intermediaries. You know the type. Middlemen promising a totally seamless process, rock-bottom prices, and perfect results. But from the literal second his plane touched down, he was walking into a meticulously crafted trap. Let's just track exactly how this played out, because it perfectly captures the systematic manipulation going on here. First, Rima arrives in Istanbul, and immediately his entire itinerary is hijacked. These middlemen drive him to a clinic that is incredibly isolated. Then things get super weird at his hotel. The air conditioning in his room just mysteriously gets shut off. Why? Because the middlemen who booked the room never actually paid the hotel bill, and the staff essentially took it out on him. To top it all off, the dental work got so delayed that he missed his return flight. With absolutely zero help from the guys who sold him the package, Rima was forced to drop €780 on an emergency flight just to escape back home to Finland. Rima actually noted how he was driven for what felt like endless kilometers through winding roads and heavy traffic in this sprawling city of 20 million people. Now, you might think, oh, they just found cheaper real estate. But actually, no. This is a very calculated psychological tactic used by these factory model clinics. They purposely take you far away from the city centers and tourist hubs. You become geographically isolated. If things go south, you can't just walk out the door, flag down a taxi, or find a local authority. You are totally dependent on their drivers. You are trapped. And that feeling of being trapped, yeah, it absolutely peaks once you're in the dentist chair. The treatment plan they originally promised Rima just completely evaporated. His lower teeth were aggressively filed down into these incredibly painful spikes. He was supposed to get individual crowns, but the clinic, wanting to save time and money, just swapped them out for a single cheap bridge. And then the unthinkable happens. The dentist drops the bridge. It hits the floor and cracks. Did they stop and order a new one? Nope. They just shoved the broken pieces into Rima's mouth, completely crooked, without even using measuring tools. When he complained, the dentist just looked at him and said there was no time to fix it. Okay, so why on earth was there no time to fix it? This right here exposes one of the biggest, dirtiest lies in the entire dental tourism industry. These places constantly advertise having state-of-the-art, in-house laboratories. But the reality, most of them don't. When they need crowns or bridges, they just outsource the job to the absolute cheapest external labs they can find, sometimes driving the parts hours across the city. It creates this massive logistical bottleneck. So if a part comes back looking wrong or, shatters on the floor, there is no on-site lab to quickly remake it. Rima was promised a 5-day turnaround, but because of these fake in-house labs, the schedule blew up. He missed his flights, and he was pressured into accepting broken teeth. And what was the grand total for this supposedly cheap dental getaway? €8,000. Yeah, the actual dental work was quoted at around €4,000. But because of all the delays, the emergency flights, the unpaid hotel extortions, and just trying to survive the logistical nightmare, Rima burns through another €4,000. The bargain option was a total illusion. And now he's left with a cracked, crooked smile that is going to cost him thousands more to fix back home. Which really brings us to the most absolutely crucial question. Where did the money actually go? Seriously, if Rima paid $4,000 for the dental work, why was the dentist rushing him out the door? Why was the care so shockingly bad? To figure this out, we have to pull back the curtain on the business structure that is quietly making all these nightmares possible. Let's follow the money through what we're going to call the intermediary trap. Step 1. You, the patient, pay your entire bill directly to the middlemen. In Rima's case, it was these brokers operating out of Tunisia. Step 2, those middlemen pocket a massive cut right off the top. We're talking up to half of your entire budget. Step 3, the actual dentist doing the work gets a severely watered-down fraction of what you paid. And step 4 is the inevitable result. Because the dentist is barely making any money on you, they have absolutely zero motivation to do a good job. They just have to churn through patients as fast as possible to make a profit. And when the whole thing falls apart, the middlemen ghost you, and the clinic refuses to honor a warranty because technically, you never even paid them. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, Rayma just got unlucky, listen to this statistic. A staggering 87% of dentists in the UK report having to treat and repair botched dental work from patients who visited these Turkish factory clinics. 87%. That is a massive public health crisis. People are flying home with severe infections, totally misaligned bites, and failing crowns, which ends up requiring incredibly painful and expensive corrective surgeries once they're back. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to look at the sheer scale of the operation. Turkey's state-subsidized system is churning through around 700,000 patients every single year. It functions exactly like an industrial factory. Volume is literally the only thing that matters. But then look at emerging alternative markets, like Tbilisi in Georgia, which see about 30,000 patients a year. That massive difference in scale entirely dictates the level of care you receive. One is a literal assembly line. The other relies on individualized, careful treatment to build and protect its growing reputation. Ultimately, it all comes down to two very different business models. On one side, you have that intermediary factory model we just talked about. Middlemen control your cash, hidden fees are everywhere, care is rushed, and warranties are a joke. But our source material highlights a totally different approach taking root in places like Georgia, called the direct-to-clinic model. Under this system, the middleman doesn't ever touch your money. They act strictly as a transparent affiliate, taking a 15% fee directly from the clinic's marketing budget. The clinics are rigorously vetted, and because you are the one paying the doctor directly, you get a real, written warranty. Let's break down exactly why this direct-to-clinic model is an absolute game changer for protecting yourself. First off, you pay the clinic directly. That means the dentist actually gets their full fee, so they are fully motivated to do a fantastic job. The 15% commission the affiliate makes is completely out in the open. Plus, these agents only partner with rigorously vetted 5-star clinics that have proven track records and real, actual in-house labs. And since the financial transaction is between you and the doctor, you walk away with a legit warranty. Oh, and best of all, you maintain total control over your own logistics. You book your flights, you book your hotel. Nobody can mysteriously shut off your air conditioning to shake you down for more money. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think it's perfectly summed up in this quote from a medical travel facilitator who uses this new transparent model. The customer pays the clinic directly the whole bill. I don't take responsibility for their money. You keep control. And that right there is the whole shebang. When you are dealing with your health, your body, and your hard-earned money, handing over control to shadowy middlemen is just a recipe for absolute disaster. By understanding how the money flows in medical tourism, you can dodge the factory traps and actually get the world-class care you're looking for. So the real question is, would you ever trust a middleman with your smile? Or is it time we all started paying the doctors directly? Definitely something to chew on the next time you see an ad for a bargain medical getaway.